How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we're going over some of the top cryptos to buy right now and in February 2023. Now, of course, we have moved up a lot recently. When we look at some of the prices, we can see year to date, Bitcoin is up 38%, Ethereum's up 38%. Some cryptos like Polygon Matic are up 74%. Solana's up 133%. So we do have to be a little bit careful because a lot of cryptos are moving up quite quickly right now. But I still think we should be paying attention because 2022 was a very bad year. We fell down drastically, and if we compare where we're at now compared to where we were even at the top of the last cycle, there's still a lot of opportunity. And when we really think out like 2 or 3 years from now, after the next Bitcoin halving and when we're into the next bull market, there's still a lot of opportunity, even though some cryptos are up 100% from where they were just a month ago. Now, we still have some dark clouds on the horizon, so I want to talk about that. I think it is important, too, that we are buying cryptos that, for the most part, are long-term holds. There are cryptos that have really strong fundamentals. There are a couple things we have to watch out for and try to avoid as well right now, because if the market shifts and we actually do see a new bottom, a lot of cryptos will fall drastically, and you want to make sure that you're not in a narrative that might not be around in a few months. You want to make sure that whatever you're buying still do well in the next bull market, even if we have some turbulence before then. You don't want to just buy whatever's pumping up 1,000% this week. So we're going to go through a lot in this video. If you want to see future videos like this, hit subscribe underneath the video. One of the last videos we did on this was what to buy for 2023. And honestly, one of the cryptos we picked out in there was Fantom, and it's up 170% or so, even after taking a 10% haircut or 20% haircut, actually, just over the last few days. It's still up 170% since we talked about it a month and a couple weeks ago, and a lot of other cryptos are up a lot too. So hit subscribe. If you want to know the exact cryptos that I buy when I buy them, you can check out the link underneath the video to Patreon. And if you do want to make short-term trades, because some of these might be a better trade short-term that we're going to be talking about in this video, there is a link to Margex underneath the video where you can long and short different cryptocurrencies. Now, I think we have to be careful a little bit of this market. Like I said, a lot of cryptos up pretty drastically right now, and that's probably for good reason. At first, the market started to move up because of liquidations. We were just at a point where there were so many shorts that the longs were able to quickly liquidate the shorts, and we moved up like $2,000 very quickly from 17,000 up to 19,000. Then we did the same thing from about 19 to 21 or 22, and we've been pretty much just staying in the same range since then. Look at this. We're just moving in this ascending channel here. Now, I think with everything that's happening right now in the market, it is important to pay attention to the fact that Jerome Powell has changed his tune. So while the market is moving up at first because of liquidations, Jerome has changed his tune in the sense that they are being a little bit more dovish, which has caused the overall market, including stocks, to turn as well. So while it might have just been liquidations at first, now there is this narrative that could be showing that the bottom is already in and a lot of the dark clouds are behind us. We also have creditors looking to get back 70 to 80% of what they lost through FTX and Genesis. That's been clearing up over the last month as well. But we still have some risks. We have inflation moving down, but if it comes back, which is something that Michael Burry thinks will happen, we could see the market continue to fall down. In Michael Burry's recent post, he shows that just because the federal funds rate is moving down doesn't necessarily mean that the market's going to go up. As you can see from 2000 to 2003, the market continued to fall down, then recover a little bit, then fall down, then recover a little bit, then fall down, even while the Fed was cutting rates. So if inflation is sticky, that could be obviously really bad for risk on assets. It could cause the Fed to have to start raising rates again, which would definitely impact the market. Also, if another company falls, like an exchange or USDT falls, obviously that will hurt crypto as well. The other thing to pay attention to is the Jim Cramer index. He's reiterating that we're in a bull market. Now, he said that he still would not touch crypto, so maybe that is actually a positive overall because you always want to do the opposite of what Jim Cramer says for the most part. Now, I'm kind of joking about that, but I'm just trying to get at the point that we are up a lot for some important reasons. There are some valid reasons why people have turned more risk on recently, but there still are some dark clouds. And that's why we're not up at 29,000 or 39,000 for Bitcoin. We could be up a lot more if people weren't so worried about inflation rearing its ugly head again. So with all that in mind, I think we should be considering dollar cost averaging at this point. If you really want to buy a position in crypto, and let's say you didn't get enough when Bitcoin was at 17,000 or 18,000, maybe you want to consider dollar cost averaging, because we don't know what this market is going to do over the next year, but we know that in a year or two, these purchases will probably be pretty valuable, or they will be a good buy if we're looking a couple of years out. I would also consider diversifying. Not putting all your eggs in one basket. Maybe buy some stocks. I have links to moomoo and Webull underneath the video to get some free stocks for signing up and depositing. But I hold real estate, stocks, and crypto in my portfolio. Then the last thing I'll get at before we get into some of the cryptos is I would make sure that you have some cash on the sidelines as well. If you've been buying over the last couple months, maybe you want to cash up. And that's something that I've been doing. I bought a lot when we were under 20,000. And since we pumped up above, I'm just kind of sitting, watching. I still have positions in crypto, and I have a lot of crypto. I dollar cost averaged a lot over the last year. But right now, I'm happy if we fall back down because I can pick up some more. And if we continue to move up, well, I've put in a lot of crypto. And I'm happy to just stock up some cash or to cash up until we see what really comes out of this market. Plus, I wouldn't mind using it for some real estate down the line too if we do see some weakness in real estate. So you want to prepare for every scenario and be okay with any scenario, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen short term, but hopefully we're right over the long term. Now, moving into cryptos to buy. We've seen a lot of cryptos over the last 7 days move. I mean, SingularityNet, the Graph, Immutable X, Optimism. There's been a huge push in a lot of cryptocurrencies, some up hundreds of percent in the last 7 days. And these aren't even like super, super small cryptos. These are top 100. Now, one thing that I think we need to be careful of, because there's still movers like 15% every day, and a lot of cryptos that have been pumping up recently have been AI or gaming. We want to make sure that the cryptos that we're buying don't have major unlocks. Like, for example, the Sandbox. It's up 15% here today. I mean, it was up even more than that. It's actually fallen almost 10% since its peak almost 20 hours ago or 15 hours ago. So it's fallen down a little bit, but still up 15%. I would be careful without looking too much into these cryptos. You might just think, okay, the narrative is that gaming crypto is going to start pumping here. A lot of people have been calling for gaming crypto to really blow up over the last year and a half. And we started to see that when Meta announced that they were going to the metaverse. We saw a lot of gaming crypto start to pump. But if you were just looking at the price and you were just FOMOing in, you might not realize that we're very close to an unlock on Sandbox. In just a few days, 12.4% of the total supply of Sandbox is going to be unlocked. That's in 6 days. So a lot of these investors might start dumping. I mean, some of these were in the seed sale, some were in the company reserve, some's going to the team, some's going to the foundation, advisor, strategic sales. A lot of crypto is going to be unlocked here. So I would be careful about buying into cryptos just because they're pumping. You want to make sure that you're doing good research, and you have to, one of the easiest things to do to figure out if one of these cryptos is going to dilute a lot is just look at the fully diluted market cap and compare that to the market cap. You can also look up the vesting schedule or token unlocks. That's what I did to find this. This is on token unlocks on their website. So be on the lookout for that. You don't want to buy something right before people sell it to take profits, or you also don't want to be in something that has constant unlocks, because that means that there's going to be constant selling pressure, and that will definitely dilute you as a crypto holder. You don't want to be buying into a crypto that's highly dilutive. Now, that's enough of the risks and things to look out for. Let's talk about some of the good stuff. What is a crypto that we should be looking at? Well, the first one that I'm going to include is actually a variety of cryptos. I think we really need to pay attention to the AI cryptos over the next month. We can see Alibaba is working on a ChatGPT rival. Shares are jumping on this. Google announced that they have Bard, and that's their AI bot, AI intelligence, or artificial intelligence. We have Microsoft moving a drastic amount, like 5, 6, 7% over the last few days because now they are unveiling their ChatGPT powered Bing. They're putting it in the sidebar and it can do some crazy stuff like view an earnings report, 15 pages, and then summarize it within a few seconds and then compare it to other earnings reports. And this is all new information. It's not stuff that was a year and a half ago. So they are unveiling this, which I think will continue to press this AI narrative. So many companies are getting into it. And it reminds me a little bit of the metaverse. Last year, we had metaverse, or maybe, what was that, a year and a half ago now, when Facebook announced the metaverse. And there's just this rush into anything that was gaming related or metaverse related. Now on CoinMarketCap, there's a metaverse section, and we haven't quite gotten there yet for AI. I mean, you can find AI cryptos. Personally, I have not bought AI cryptos yet. I don't want to buy when they're pumping up 600% in a month, but I would be on the lookout for something that actually provides value. I haven't found anything that really blew my mind in AI yet, but I'm on the lookout for it. If you know anything, let me know in the comment section. But this is going to be the first area that I'm looking in. I'm going to be looking for some really good AI cryptos. Now, second on this list is one that I hold personally, and it's something that I said you want to add to your wallet. You want to add to your bag, and that's Fantom. This is 7 days ago. I made a full video on it. So if you want to see more information than what I'm going to give to here, I will put that on the end screen, but I would highly suggest looking at Fantom. Right now, Fantom is at 53 cents, and a month ago, I was talking about Fantom at 20 cents. So Fantom's made a big move over the last month. As you can see, we're pretty much bouncing off this 51 cent line, and this is where we saw some prior resistance as well back in May of 2022. And we just got a golden cross as well, where the 50-day moving average is moving over the 200-day. This is typically a pretty bullish signal. Now from there, we've gone from about 45 cents up to 53 cents. So a little bit of a move, but the majority of the move was before it. So we can't always rely just on technical indicators to show that the market is moving up. I mean, this is a lagging indicator. The reason that the golden cross happens is because we've already moved up a lot. So this is why I was talking about buying it around 20 cents, and I was doing that at the time as well. Again, if you want to know why I'm buying and selling, you can check out the Patreon underneath the video. I don't trade too much. I mostly buy and hold for the long term, and I take profits on the way up. But you can see that we have started to come down a little bit, cool off from the 65 cents that we were at recently, falling about 20%. I would be on the lookout for this. If we retest, or even if we just start moving up here, I think that will be very bullish for Fantom, especially if the market continues to move up. We just basically retested this area of resistance, or actually put in a new area of resistance around 51 cents, basically bouncing off of, again, the prior resistance that we had seen. And this would be pretty bullish, showing that we are possibly moving back up over the long term or over the short term as well. But I'd be looking, especially if we fall down below this level, if we fall below 50 cents, I would think about dollar cost averaging into this. And in this video, I talk about a lot of the reasons for this, but it really comes down to a few really important things. The Fantom virtual machine is coming out later this year. Supposedly, it will replace the EVM or the Ethereum virtual machine. This will increase the speed of execution on Fantom, and this is really bullish. A lot of people have been looking forward to this for a while. We also have gotten recent news from Andre Crony that they are in a very good financial position. They have over 100 million in stablecoins, 100 million in crypto assets. They hold 50 million in non-crypto assets, and they're cash flow positive at this point. So this is a crypto that I think could do really well and is in a really good position to not have to do anything crazy, dilute people, or liquidate their own crypto that they hold to fund the future development of Fantom. So I think this is really positive, and this is one of the reasons it's moved up so much over the last month or so. The next crypto on this list is Polygon. Polygon has been on a huge run as well. And this is another crypto that I've talked about for months. And just recently, if we look back at the end of the year, it was at 75 cents. It was also a crypto that I covered in some of the top cryptos to buy for 2023. And so far, it's just in this ascending channel here, almost an ascending triangle, really. And right now we are a little bit further than halfway in this channel. So we just bounced off of it, got rejected around 133 just a few minutes ago. Now we're back down to 131, but you can see that this is pretty bullish, especially if we break out to the upside. Even if we don't, we could still see this continue to happen. And right now, we have seen some prior resistance right around this level that we're at now at about $1.30. You can see we spiked to that level back in November of 2022, right before the FTX collapse. And then we also saw some resistance around $1.75. So if we break through this level and continue to move up, I'd be paying attention. We might have a big breakout here, especially if crypto in general breaks out, especially because CPI is coming next week. That could be a huge catalyst for crypto. Be on the lookout because Polygon will probably continue to move up. I also made a video on Polygon and why I'm so bullish on Polygon. I'll put that on the end screen along with a Fantom video. There are a lot of reasons for it, but they do have their ZK rollups coming this year, hopefully. And this is going to help the privacy and security of the blockchain as well. So this is another huge catalyst. We also have a lot of partnerships continuously coming in for Polygon, whether it's Starbucks, Adidas, Nike, Meta, Stripe, DraftKings, Adobe. So many big companies are using Polygon, which I think will onboard more users. And when you look at Fantom and Polygon, they both have a decent amount of TVL and activity, especially for how big the market caps are compared to some other cryptos. So they, I think, are a little bit undervalued compared to some other players, but we've also seen them close the gap a little bit since a month ago because they have both moved up a lot, especially compared to the general crypto market. So you have to be on your toes. You have to be ready to buy when things get a little bit too cheap looking. Now, I have not been buying too many of these altcoins recently. I've been a little bit cautious because I think we might see another leg down, but I definitely am getting ready to buy these a little bit heavier. I'm still holding on to Fantom and Polygon, but I'm on the lookout to get them at another really good buying in point very soon. Now, the next crypto on this list is Ethereum. You can see since they switched over to proof of stake from proof of work, they're actually deflationary by 0.03%. And this is at a time where not too many people are actually using cryptocurrency, and that's a huge thing that they're deflationary because it just cuts down on the selling pressure. It also encourages people to actually hold on to crypto because it's actually becoming more scarce and you can get rewarded if you go and stake your crypto, which is insane. They also have the Shanghai upgrade that's coming here in a very short period of time. They're supposed to do this in March of 2023. This will essentially allow people that had their money, or their Ethereum, I should say, in the 2.0 contract to start withdrawing. Now, I think people will take this as a very negative event because there is going to be a lot of supply that could be unlocked now, but it will happen over a number of weeks and months. And I think it's actually bullish long term because people can put their crypto in and actually know when they're going to be able to get it out. I think a lot more people are going to be willing to stake their Ethereum if they're allowed to actually take it out of the contract. So I think this is actually going to be really bullish for Ethereum. Now, when we look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart here, you can see we were pretty much staying below this line, this trend line for a while, but we broke out, came back below it, then broke out again. I'd be looking for us to retest this line, and I really do want to buy more Ethereum. At one point, I might just have to bite the bullet, but at this point, I'm willing to wait a little bit longer. Hopefully, we retest this line, which is around that 0.068 level or so, especially if it's in the next few days. It will continue to get lower, obviously, as we move along, but at some point, I might just have to buy because I'm really bullish on Ethereum over the long term, and I have some Ethereum now, but I'd like to buy some more and rebalance a little bit because I am very heavy into Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is the next name on this list. Bitcoin is in this ascending channel here as well, bouncing off of 22,700 here today. And I think there are a lot of things happening with Bitcoin. Obviously, it's the least risky crypto. A lot of people don't want to invest in it because they think it's a boomer coin or something like that. But the fact is, it still has a lot of upside. It's a 3x to the old all-time high. It's a 5x to $100,000. I think Bitcoin is definitely a better asset, or a better risk-adjusted asset than a lot of the different stocks and cryptos that you can buy. I think that there is something to be said for a 5x. I mean, that is a huge increase in the next few years compared to just about any other asset. It's crazy. But in crypto, it does seem a little bit boring. I will admit that compared to some of these other altcoins. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Bitcoin dominance went up soon, especially if we fall back down. Dominance should move up because a lot of people will be wiped out of smaller cryptos or want to just get out of crypto altogether, or they might just sell into Bitcoin. I also think there's something to be said for countries using Bitcoin, and people in Nigeria are moving over to Bitcoin because of rules and regulations that are put on them with their own currency. They can't withdraw more than $44 a day. And I think this is going to continue to happen where more and more countries adopt Bitcoin. And there are a lot of people that are excited about something like, it's called ISO 222. A lot of the cryptos that are a little bit more regulated possibly could be used by banks. And a lot of people think those are going to be what countries and people adopt, what banks adopt. But there's something to be said for something that's more decentralized, like Bitcoin. It could be adopted as well. And we're seeing that where several countries have taken it as legal tender now. And there's a way that you can use the Lightning Network to basically cash out, basically convert US dollars or currency into Bitcoin, send it via Lightning, and then convert it back to dollars after that. So you can use the Lightning Network without actually having some of that risk where if you're paying someone in Bitcoin and they hold on to it for a day or two and then it falls down, that is a risk for using it as currency. But there are ways to get around that, and Stripe, the company Stripe, is using the Lightning Network to get around some of those issues. Now, we also see a lot of big investors investing heavily into Bitcoin. Over the last couple of weeks, we saw 68.5 million go into Bitcoin this last week. And the week before that, we saw about $100 million, a little bit over $100 million flowing into Bitcoin. Big investors are buying Bitcoin. They're not going and buying a bunch of alts. There are some that are buying small amounts of alts, but the majority of large investors are buying Bitcoin. That is enough risk for them in this kind of market and this kind of environment. So those are some of the top cryptos I would put on my list. I'm not saying to go buy all these right now. Now, again, I think you should probably be diversified and have some cash on the sidelines because we don't know what's going to happen throughout the rest of the year. But also, I'm not selling. I haven't sold anything in the last month with these rallies. I am thinking about taking some profits on some altcoins that are up a significant amount over the last month. But if you want to know exactly when I buy and sell, again, you can check out the Patreon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hitting the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.